Alright guys, let's take a moment to talk about Palantir, shall we? So currently Palantir is down 5% and is just north of $7. It's obviously retreating as per usual going into earnings. I really hope that we're going to do a little better than everyone's expecting when it comes to earning. But let's focus on some positive things. First and foremost, again, my heart goes out to Syria and Turkey. They had those massive 7.5 Richter scale earthquakes, and the death toll is nearing 10,000 if I'm not mistaken. Shyam Sankar puts out a tweet. Somebody actually from the community says, hey, can Palantir help with this? Shyam Sankar puts out a tweet, says, hey, I'm on it, and if any officials from Turkey see this, send me a DM. And everyone's like, what's the chances that anybody from Turkey is actually going to see this? Well, lo and behold, our very own Sherlock Holmes, Mr. Ether Squared, finds a link that Palantir is actually working with Turkey. The link is actually the Turkish word for earthquake. So just think about this, right? Palantir starts a relationship in Ukraine, natural disaster or, countrywide disaster, let's call it, with them being attacked. And Palantir is in there ASAP. Not taking money, let's just start working together and expanding our contracts. Turkey has a natural disaster, right? A countrywide disaster. And again, Palantir is in it to win it. ASAP. Within a couple of days, I think like a day later, we're already finding links. And if you guys don't know how it works, if you're new to the channel, when you work with Palantir Foundry, they give you a specific link. If you put in that word, sometimes it's code words, sometimes it's literally your businesses. We can't log in to see your actual login, but if you have a link, it goes to a page where it says put in your password. So that's how we know that certain countries, certain entities, certain companies are working with Palantir. Now, sometimes those companies or entities are just demos, but I think the conversion is actually like 90% or high 80s. I forgot the number off the top of my head, where Ether Squared finds these links, and these links end up being very, very valid. So it's not like 1 out of 10. It's like 8 or 9 out of 10 are actually valid. And again, sometimes it's small demos, and then you work from there. So Ukraine, we're expecting to give Palantir a major boost in revenue and huge contracts in the future, especially if they win. And hopefully this is going to get Palantir into Turkey and working on a national level. Now we know as we're helping Ukraine, we're also helping NATO. Turkey is a part of NATO. And hopefully with Palantir helping with the natural disaster, ASAP, we're going to be able to expand on these relationships, right? We start small and then we expand. That's how we started with the NHS. We charged them like $1. And now see, we're vying for this major $500 million, $1 billion contract. Also, that's exactly how we started working with the NIH and how we started working with so many other agencies when it comes to working with the government, both domestically and abroad. So that's fantastic that we're working with Turkey and that we were able to mobilize this quick. And I definitely foresee in the future, Turkey is going to be a major contributor to our bottom line. They have a lot of issues, but the country is going through some sort of revitalization now that they're able to leverage themselves in the NATO alliance, because the United States needs to communicate with Russia, and Turkey has probably the best relationship of the NATO countries with Russia. So in the future, I think this is going to bring in a lot of money when it comes to Palantir. There is a second thing that came out, and again, shout out to Ether Squared. He was actually in New York yesterday. We found a link for Beyond Meat around 3 months ago. Ether Squared found it. And again, that's what I was talking about. We find a link, and then that link ends up becoming valid, because a lot of haters are like, oh, it's just a link. It doesn't really mean anything. It could mean anything, right? But the links actually are valid, and we always find that out later. And I'll give you another example. So yesterday, Palantir makes a comment, something, our partner in Beyond Meat. Now, Beyond Meat is really suffering. Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett is selling out of his shares from Beyond Meat. They're suffering to keep market share, and they're suffering in general because the fad of vegetarian and fake meat is kind of sizzling down, pun intended. Now, I don't eat meat. I'm a pescatarian. I eat fish, and Beyond Meat it's great. I love eating it, but it is not doing so well, and it keeps going down, baby. So Palantir proves that you're able to become more efficient if you use them. Some way, some shape or form, I'm assuming that they're going to help in two ways. Number one, supply chain distribution to make them more efficient so that there's no loss. And number two, coming up with better formulas for their products, making them a little bit even more realistic. Now, for people that don't eat meat, you wouldn't understand this, but they're pretty realistic. Does it mimic meat? Exactly? No. Does it taste really good? Yeah. Have I fooled people between meat eaters and non-meat eaters? Not 100%, but they're like, yo, this is really close. And I did eat meat before, so it's a good product. The point is, they need some help, and Palantir is that help. Palantir is going to get them, out of this, hopefully. We're going to have earnings. The earnings is going to be Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Monday, Tuesday. I think Monday right after the bell. And the next day is actually going to be CPI. I will be doing the earnings live with Arnie and Emmanuel on Arnie's channel. The last two earnings, he was on my channel. Shout out to my man Arnie Investing. If you guys don't know who he is, he comes out with amazing graphs and he has a Substack. He does a really, really good work. What's to expect in earnings? I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I don't think we're going to have some massive beats. I just hope that we have a massive, massive forward-moving statement. That's the main thing right here. I don't care what happened. I care what's happening. I've said it many times before that I think 2023 is going to be a good year for Palantir, specifically the second half of the year, once we start neutraling the rate, right? The Federal Open Market Committee, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, once he starts studying the rate and then reducing the rate, the whole market should come back. Now, Palantir trades at a beta, which means if the market goes up 1%, Palantir is going to go up 1.5%. But if the market goes down 1%, Palantir goes down 1.5%. And you could see what's happening, right? Palantir down 5% today. Why? For what reason? Why is Palantir going down? In general, the market was just going up too fast, too hot, and now there's, a pullback. Is it too late for you to invest into Palantir? No, in my personal opinion, it's not too late for you to get into Palantir. Palantir is in prime position for a massive, massive bull run for everything that I was mentioning earlier. Plus, they have some major contracts that they're vying for. The NHS contract that we're going to know about in the next 6 months. And towards the end of this year, early 2024, we're going to get some updates about the Massive Titan program. And both of these things are worth potentially $1 billion+ to Palantir. Palantir starts small and they keep expanding. And then the earnings call, as long as their commercial business keeps growing in terms of new clients and expanding on existing clients, I will be happy. I am not so concerned if they are going to have these massive beats. I hope that they make their numbers at least, that they have a beat, fantastic. But what I am looking forward to is forward-moving guidance, because Palantir starts very small with all of these clients and then they expand. So let me just rephrase that. If you were to tell me, hey, Palantir just signed up one massive client for $100 million, or you were to tell me Palantir just signed up 10 clients for $10 million, or even better, Palantir signed up 100 clients for $1 million. I rather have that. I rather have smaller clients, smaller amounts, than one large client, because I know in the future, all those smaller clients with smaller amounts, chances are they will become huge clients in the future and keep expanding their business with Palantir. At the end of the day, Palantir is a bargain stock, in my personal opinion. Now, you guys can make up your mind yourselves, but you are definitely getting a value of Palantir. Can it still go to $5 or $6? Absolutely it could, but it could also go to $10, $11, $12 just as fast as it can go down to $5, $6. Right now it's going to be very interesting. After the earnings, you have the CPI report followed by the PPI report, then you have another CPI and a PPI the month after, and then you have the Federal Open Market Committee right after that. A lot of things that's going to be happening in the market besides for just Palantir is going to be contingent on what's happening with the Federal Open Market Committee. One more thing. When they're helping Turkey, they're helping them how? Using Meta Constellation. Meta Constellation is the proprietary technology of Palantir, where they're taking a lot of private satellites from different companies, they're putting them together, and they're getting different domain information. What is different domain information and data? A domain is space, a domain is air, a domain is land, a domain is sea. You understand? Different levels of where you are. And they take data from all of these different points using private satellites from many different companies, and they formulate it together to give you near real-time, useful information, transformational information, not just theory, oh, this can work if this and this, but actual useful knowledge and data. That's the difference between Palantir and everyone else. And if you truly believe in what I'm saying and you connect the dots, you know that Palantir is a freaking monster. With that said, guys, I can give you one piece of advice. Click on this link down below to watch another video. It's jam-packed with a lot of information, data, and knowledge. Thank you, and have a great weekend. Happy trading. Let's make some money.